the side of a bunch of criminals.
He
And
hasn't
we know
taken
it.
any.
These are
He
the
hasn't.
worst
He
of the
hasn't
worst.
taken
This
any
is a
side
gang.
yet, Congressman. He hasn't taken any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on the White House action here so that he can review their use of their novel use, frankly, of the Alien Enemies
Oh, come
Act.
on. These guys, listen.
Again,
Congressman, and
this isn't a question. This
It's
isn't a question
ridiculous
about the
that you all would
media.
take the
This
side of
isn't
a
a
bunch of
question about the
murderers.
media. No
People
one's
have
taking
gotten
his side
killed.
here.
This is a,
Congressman,
yes,
no
you
one's
are. I'm
taking
not
his side
saying
here.
that he is not.
I'm asking you about.
They
No,
are
you can
criminals.
argue.
They are not
You
American
can argue.
citizens. Quit taking
You
their
can,
side,
Congressman.
CNN.
Congressman,
What
can
is
you?
wrong with you
Can
all?
you
These judges, he'll sit on his ass for months so these criminals can stay in this country. Seriously, I don't know how you all sleep at night.
Guys, someone call 911. This guy just got absolutely cooked, roasted, and absolutely destroyed. Based Tim Burchett. Okay, I posted a video about him a couple weeks ago. Republican representative out of Tennessee, completely destroyed this woke, fake legacy news propagandist over here at CNN, John Berman. Now, this is one of those really sniveling, cowardly types on fake news CNN. You'll probably saw his face in the thumbnail. And Tim went at it with this guy because this guy is trying to argue in favor of this woke judge who told Donald Trump, hey, you can't exercise your executive authority and use laws that legally passed in Congress previously to deport illegal aliens. Right. So now they're saying, well, this law is kind of old, so we need to look closer at this before you deport people. As a matter of fact, turn the plane around while we adjudicate this.
Judge said, hey, turn them plane around and bring them immigrants from Venezuela back. They say they was murderers, killers, rapes, all this here. That's what Trump did. Put the foot on the gas, don't turn them plane around, man. Drop their motherfucking ass off in El Salvador. They gang members. They shouldn't have been here anyway. They was over here illegally. So we ain't with the look. Trump used motherfuckers from the 1700s on their ass, man. Real shit, man.
No. He's got executive authority. The law's already passed. You said, well, you can't just do all this stuff without following the law. Now you follow the law, but when it's the law you don't like, oh, well, we need to adjudicate this more in court and delay, install this. That's all these radical leftists are doing. Tim Burchett is not having it. You would think that CNN would wake up. They've been carrying so much water for the Democrats. I just don't get it. They're not even doing good financially. It's not even a good financial strategy. They had to reduce fake Tapper and Wolf Blitzer's pay. Jim Acosta was fired. MSDNC is in shambles. Joy Reid over here crying on TV. And yet, here we are. Yet again, let's get some more of them fired, guys. Let's get into this.
With us now is Congressman Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee. He's a member of the Foreign Affairs and Oversight Committee. Congressman, always great to see you. What's your understanding of what Article 3 of the Constitution says about a judge's responsibility in federal law?
Well, it's a district judge. Of course, it's an Obama appointee, apparently, in I believe the District of Columbia. And I think it's very fuzzy at best. I think Trump's administration is correct in that this guy has no standing. It's just political posturing, in my opinion. You've got murderers, rapists, child predators, child traffickers that are here in this country illegally. They're here illegally. They're not American citizens. And we finally have a president that understands that. We've had 14 million of these of folks coming in illegally that our systems are stretched to the limits to manage. And finally, somebody's doing something about it. And then you have a judge step in and say, no, in fact, the president does not have that ability. So I stand with President Trump. I think it's a complete overreach by this judge. Well, and he's an activist. He showed up at court cases in the past at things. So I just don't go ahead.
The argument right now isn't over whether or not these people should be in the country. The argument is over whether it is lawful to remove them under the Alien Enemies Act. And I'll just read you from Article 3 of the
okay, so there's lots of different, even without the Alien Enemies Act, Donald Trump could remove these people from the country. He actually has fairly vague and unilateral authority to remove people from the country that are not United States citizens. The vast majority of constitutional, I'd argue all the constitutional protection is for U.S. citizens, but it wasn't until a couple cases where they said if you are a non-citizen and they're trying to criminally charge you with something that would get you locked up or killed or something like that, because those are the type of penalties that you would have for some sort of criminal violent charge, then you would have to actually have some sort of legal protection and due process. However, as it relates to deportation, no. Are you a citizen? No? Okay, you gotta go.
Constitution. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in inferior courts, as Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Inferior courts are district courts. You yourself acknowledge this is district court judge. And then Section 2 of Article 3 says the judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. The Constitution states pretty clearly that federal judges interpret federal law. Do you have a gripe with that?
No, except for this judge is a created situation, and I don't think it's viable. I think it's political overreach by the left, and that's why I don't think that's why you're not seeing a lot of members of Congress on the left that are trying to stand up and say something.
Do you have evidence that he was unlawfully confirmed by the Senate?
What is this?
No, what I have.
Fool, slap yourself 3 times.
Evidence of is that the people that he deported, that the president deported, are criminals, and I never understand why CNN takes the side of a bunch of murderers that have come into our country illegally. And I realize you all have you have to make your stand, but that is complete nonsense, and the American public's not buying it. Listen, this is an act of war by these countries. These people have come in and they've come across our border illegally. What would happen if 14 million people swarmed the border at one time, yet it was spread out over 4 years? 14 million people. What you consider that an unlawful invasion? It's an act of war. These folks are not playing fair. They're emptying their criminals on us, and it is an act of war.
Congressman, the media didn't write the Constitution. The founding fathers did. And all I'm asking is whether you think
these people always got a complaint whenever Trump is literally following the law. We're talking about a network that covered for Joe Biden's cognitive decline, ignored the fact that there was cocaine in the White House, ignored the fact that there are laws in place regarding illegal immigration, and Joe Biden and Mayorkas and all of the radical leftists ignored all of those laws. They didn't seem to have a problem ignoring the law back then, but now all of a sudden Trump is literally following the law as written. This isn't some old law that's now deprecated. It's still currently law. They didn't revoke this law or amend it or anything. So Trump is following it, but no, we can't follow that. This guy doesn't make any sense.
I'll put this up on the screen, said we're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. All I'm asking you, and you are an elected member of Congress, and we certainly respect that role, what your advice is to the White House. Do you think that the White House has the responsibility to follow rulings from the federal judiciary?
I think President Trump has the ability and authority to protect this country from unlawful entry and from criminals conducting criminal activity, and I believe that he acted appropriately and Tom Homan acted appropriately, and that's why I believe overwhelmingly in this country people support that, and they think this judge has overstepped his bounds.
Well, but so no matter what a judge
and he's
says,
taking the side of a bunch of criminals.
He hasn't taken any side yet. Congressman, he hasn't taken any side yet. All he's done is put a stay on the White House action.
Why do these people love to ignore the fact that you're talking about an Obama-appointed judge? The only judges doing any of this are a bunch of leftist judges. It doesn't make sense, guys.
He can review their use of their novel use, frankly, of the Alien Enemies
Act.
On,
these guys. Listen, these guys. The difference between God and these judges is God knows he's not one of these judges. They're arrogant. They practice this type of thing all the time. And if you had a conservative one doing it, you all would be raising total hell. But because it's a left-winger and it's CNN, and you all take that side.
This isn't a question about the media. This isn't a question about the media. No one's taking a side here. Congressman,
yes,
no one's taking a side here.
He is not.
I'm asking you about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution. Is asking about the Constitution taking a side. All I'm asking you is about the Constitution, what you think of it, and what you would advise this White House and your feeling about judicial rulings. And that seems to be upsetting you. I'm just trying to get your position on this and what you would advise the White House going forward.
He already knows his position.
I guess what upsets me is that you all at CNN continuously take the side of the far left, and that's why your ratings continue to plummet. And I do not ever understand why y'all do that every time. I know you got to take the opposite side on everything, but you all are wrong on this one. Listen, this is a gang that took over an apartment complex in Colorado. They murder people. They are criminals.
We're trying to understand. Now, you can argue.
They are not
You
American
can argue.
Quit taking
You
their
can,
side,
Congressman.
CNN.
Congressman,
what
can
is
you?
wrong with you
Can
all?
you, Congressman?
You're out of touch with what's 85% of this country does not support what you are spewing out right now.
We haven't spewed. The only one spewing is the guy who's talking uninterrupted right now.
How long does it take him to review this stuff? How long does it take him to review this stuff? These judges, he'll sit on his ass for months so these criminals can stay in this country.
Facts.
This is all this is. This is overreach. And I'll guarantee you, if his kids had been murdered or raped, as has happened in this country to several American citizens by these thugs, that he would be taking a different position. But he's protected. You all protect him. You all have got to come off this. Seriously, I don't know how you all sleep at night.
I don't know either.
Criminals, murderers,
Congressman, can I ask you to stop for 1 second here? I think if you go through and analyze the questions I asked, very carefully worded, they were about the Constitution. I think it's fair to ask a member of Congress about the Constitution and his understanding about it. I asked it in incredibly respectful ways, and I respect your opinion on this, sir. I also respect the fact that you seem very concerned with the future of the media industry. That aside, sir, I do think a discussion about the law is valid, and I was asking you your interpretation of it, the White House interpretation of it, and what should happen next. The discussion right now before this judge, the discussion before the judge today is not whether or not what they did was legal in regards to these gang members, and it may be the absolute right policy to get them out. The discussion before the judge today is whether or not the White House followed his instructions.
To get them out. If y'all want to issue a lecture, go ahead and issue a lecture and leave me off. But if we need to get those people out, they are criminals. Look at those thugs and tell me you want those thugs living in your neighborhood. Do you want them in your neighborhood? Do you want them running your apartment complex as they did in Colorado? No. Heck no. Look, you asked me my opinion. I gave it. I think the president is correct. I think Tom Homan is correct. I think America supports this, and we are tired of these activist judges reaching out way over their skis, and that's what this guy's done. Look at the history of this guy. He shows up at court cases. He's anti-Trump. We know this. Everybody knows this. This is no secret. This is just ridiculous. You all have way overstepped on this one because the American public is not buying it.
I will only say, not once did I overstep in any way by asking you questions about
this dude literally pretending like he doesn't know that this is an Obama anti-Trump judge. Like, what are you talking about?
You know that,
and
you know there was no.
There was no. To take it.
I listened to your opinion very much. I was asking for your opinion.
I gave you my opinion, brother.
Okay.
I gave you my opinion.
All right.
I gave you my opinion, and you refused to take it.
I believe for the last several minutes we've been taking it.
Right,
Congressman Tim Burchett, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your words extensively. Sarah?
Okay, well, he's still going.
Tim Burchett. Look, I freaking love this dude. Hey, man, wait a minute. Is Tim Burchett ran for president? Yeah. I mean, look, we got a lot of people. Look, the Republican Party got a lot of tough opponents. I appreciate him pushing back against this nonsense. What CNN and the rest of the fake news loves to pretend is that you have to have, like, they pretend like you're in court. Like, you can't see somebody that's obviously an Obama appointee, somebody that's obviously pro-Biden, pro-open borders, pro or anti-Trump, all of these things combined, and much evidence of that. But because you don't have specific evidence, well, how do you know they don't have legitimate concerns? It's like, shut your little stupid ass up, man. Of course they are doing this for political reasons. That's all these people do. It's just like that weirdo attorney general who tried to take Trump off the ballot and claimed that she was just following the law. Oh, you can't have insurrection, even though he had never been convicted of insurrection. He never even was charged with insurrection. And yet she said she was following the law then, and these people at CNN, they didn't care nothing about that. That was literally against the law. That judge should have been, that attorney general should have been impeached. All of the people who tried to remove Trump from the ballot should face legal consequence, and they should pay and pay dearly. They shouldn't be able to get away with doing stuff like that. And these people, including this woke behind judge, should not be able to get away with doing what he's doing. You're interfering with the executive duties of the president. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We elected this guy to fulfill exactly what he's doing. If these people are criminals, they need to go. They don't need to send the planes back. Tell me that this is not an activist judge. He could have just said, hey, you could finish doing what you're doing this time, but the next time we need to adjudicate this. He could have said that. He could have did some middle ground. No, this fool said, turn the plane around. Ain't no frickin', don't hit me with the, well, we don't know if this is an activist. We're just innocent CNN. We don't see anything. We don't know what you're talking about. It's like these people are liars. Man, I love exposing these propagandas. This was a funny video to watch because Tim Burchett makes it funny. I appreciate him calling out this fake news, sniveling, cowardly propagandist. How he sleeps at night is on a pile of money. That's your answer, Burchett, because it's sad, but a lot of people sell their souls for the money. Y'all are not going to see me on fake news CNN. I'm not attempting to get a job. I know what you got to do that best serves your chances of being on fake news CNN. Either get a law degree and find a way to squeeze your butt in there, or work for a presidential administration or something. You pretty much got to be really high up in terms of achievement in order to have a chance of being one of the actual speakers on one of these news organizations. I don't want to do any of that stuff because these people are not free. You pretty much got Scott Jennings, the one guy. Like, I guarantee you, they be in them interviews, they get people's political points of view. They see that they're conservative and they're like, okay, thanks for your time. We're going to give you a call back. You're like, man, they never called me back. It's been like 10 interviews, a dozen interviews. They're not going to call you back. Okay, they got their one token Republican, Scott Jennings. They're not going to call nobody else. Okay, Scott Jennings already getting paid extra. They don't want to pay nobody else no more. So, guys, this was a funny interaction. Let me know what you guys think about this. You think this judge was within his rights to tell Trump to turn the plane around that's already halfway there? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the videos. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Fuck what a judge talking about that what he said. Drop their ass off.
They are now arguing that the president should have turned around those planes with these foreign terrorists on them. I don't think the American public want these people in our country. That's why they overwhelmingly reelected President Trump. He is doing the will of the American public who elected him to this office, and thank God he is, because he is saving countless lives in the process.